Today I will be talking about the Florida assessment tests regarding the EOCs and pretty much how I'm pretty much fed up with it. And I feel as though that these tests are worthless. They're not useful at all. Statistics and studies have shown, scientific studies have shown that these tests don't do anything for us. As of, I think it was around 2013, 2012 when I was around. It was, I want to say, when they did the Algebra 1 EOC. I was one of the few, very slim few, that actually passed the EOC when a majority of Floridians actually failed the Algebra EOC. And those that passed got a personal letter from Governor Rick Scott congratulating us on our efforts and accomplishing and beating the test on the EOC. Uh, this it really annoys me how people will say they'll applaud the students and stuff like that, but I feel like the real dream makers, the real people that actually helped out in doing this were the teachers. The teachers actually are the backbone of getting this stuff done. If you don't have teachers and you don't have the education, then how are we able to pass these EOCs? They The responsibility has been passed on, it's been a heavy responsibility. It has been passed on from us down to the teachers, because whenever we take those tests, we're not only being graded but the teachers as well. And I really don't want to get upset and uh, get too loud, but my thing with this is I feel as though the only thing that they're doing in Tallahassee as of right now is sitting up there snorting cocaine and getting a high and then joking around and saying, well, I wonder, Bob, how can we fuck up some student and a teacher's day by just giving them these random ass questions? And then, here's the thing, for all those teachers that keep going around and saying, well, I have an EOC. How come they don't have an EOC? Well, just give everyone an EOC. We're going to be Oprah this time. You get an EOC. You get an EOC. You get an EOC. Everybody gets an EOC. It's almost like every single day is a test for the student. I found out that as of right now, there at my school, there is a test for gym. A test for gym. It's almost to the point where I feel like they're going to give an EOC on walking. There's an EOC on walking. How long is your gait? Is your gait 90-degree angle? Is it acute? Is it obtuse? Is it what is it? I feel like it's gonna be a mess. It really is. It's gonna be a mess. Too many people are gonna be upset, and this is what I'm hoping. There's going to be an uproar, and people are going to be upset about this, and there's going to be a big backlash, and they're going to pretty much stop all these testing. Like, I can understand when we had the FCAT, they told us that they were going to take away the FCAT, and we were only going to have standardized tests that actually mattered. Now they're giving an EOC, an end of course exam, for every single class. It's almost like you take the fun out of actually finishing the elective. Now you're actually pressuring us to know something that we're not going to use later on in life. Like, for instance, I can understand you needing to know French. You have to know another language, and that would actually help excel you in the business world. But if you're in McDonald's, if you're working in McDonald's and you know French, it's not really going to help you unless you have some type of uh, exchange employee type of thing going on, where you have McDonald employees from France coming to America and working at your local McDonald's, which I highly doubt is going to ever happen. Uh, but it's useless. Most people that have this education, they do earn a larger salary, but that's most people. That also means that a lot of people that have this education don't earn that salary. So you're testing us. You're giving us a test, an end of course exam, which naturally is about weighted 20 to 30% of your uh, overall grade. So now what you're saying is we're gonna have to have an actual big giant study guide. Like this is my I take med skills. Okay. This are all the notes from med skill. These are all the notes from med skill. All the way from what is stress, how to deal with stress. It's ridiculous. And I feel like it's way too long. It's way too much to deal with. It's pressuring us way too much. That's stressful. How do you deal with that? It too much testing. It wears us down. Okay, by giving us all of these tests, that doesn't make America get any better from number 21 on the spot in rated countries in their education. It doesn't. It doesn't get us anywhere. All it does, it just pushes us down even more. And it's scientifically proven. You can look it up. You can look up the effects of testing students too much. You know, they explained it by saying that you give all these tests and you're pretty much cramming in knowledge into our minds, and then we're gonna have to throw it up on a test, not having any recollection or any not showing any sign of actually uh, digesting what we've learned, or actually comprehending what we've learned. There is no comprehension because you're throwing it up. You're just learning it to memorize it and then throw it up on a test and then pass the test and then, you know, never expecting to see something like that ever again. You know, and I feel like that's a big problem. That's a very big issue in America, and it's something that we have to change. Now, next, I'd like to talk about Bill Cosby. Okay, this is something that I feel is a very big issue in America. Is America's rape culture, where we stereotype certain genders and we go around and we push off these allegations of rape. One thing that I don't mess around with is someone saying that they've been raped. A lot of people like to push it off and say, "Oh, there's too many inconsistencies in your story. Your story doesn't add up. You told me one story this morning at 11 a.m. and it doesn't add up with the same story that you told me at 1 o'clock p.m." And I feel like the rape culture in America is so strong. You know, in one town, there was a town that covered up a, a, a rape case where a girl was raped by members of the football team, and because they wanted those football players to play in the game, they allowed them. They actually covered up the rape, and no one knew about it until a group of anonymous members. Okay, if you don't know who anonymous is, look them up on the internet. Very very they fight for the right thing. They fight for the right cause. You know, I've listened to a lot of the things that they fought for, and I'm for them. You know, most of the stuff that I've read and I've listened to, I'm for it. I'm not saying all, but most of the stuff that I've listened to, I'm for it. And I remember this case and I was like, this is just so disgusting. How could you be able to feel good about yourself, being able to give them a pat on the back and say, oh, we'll just brush it off and you can play the next game. So this whole thing with Bill Cosby, I don't care how long it took, whether it was from 1969 all the way to 2006, which is how long these allegations have been going on and on. I don't care. These women were pressured into not doing it. Some of these women were told, "Oh, just don't do it." The agency doesn't want to have any backlash. They don't want to have to deal with Cosby's lawyers. He's too big of a person. You can't fight against him. It's like saying that it's like saying, "Oh, you know, your sister was raped by the dean. Oh, well, you know, the dean is a powerful person. You know, he does a lot at the school." That wasn't really a good that wasn't a really good one, but if you can think of one, you know, it's it just really angers me, and it's so hypocritical of Cosby, because he would blame black culture. Come on, how do you define black culture? Okay, that's something that I would love to know, how you define black culture. Uh, a person once told me there's different cultures. Just because you have it to one certain race, not ethnicity, but to one certain race of people, a group of people, and just by saying that, oh, that's their culture, that's black culture. What about black people in London? Are they the same as, I guess, black people in the South? And what about Northerners that are upstate that are black? Are they the same as black people in the South, or people in Oakland, California? Are they the same as people in the Midwest? It's it's stereotyping, and it's race baiting as well. And so I feel like when you it's a little bit of a turnaround. Actually, it's a little bit like, if you can dish it out and you can't take it in, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. It's a little bit like that. And I feel like, Mr. Cosby, you messed up. Okay, I looked up to you, and you pretty much, with all of these accusations, and I can't think of it as lies, because it's the same MO. It's the same thing. It's the same thing reoccurring over and over and over again. And how these women were pressured into not doing it because you were such a big star in 1983, and you had the Cosby Show, and you were so big and so famous, and they couldn't come after you because, they didn't want to have to deal with the backlash of your presence as being America's father. Having that title just scares them. Ooh, you know, it's like saying, oh, we can't. It's like when Attorney General Eric Holder said that he couldn't go and take the banks to court because they were too big. That's a good one. And these banks ruined America. You can pretty much say that the banks raped America. Look at that. And they took all this money from Americans, and you know put us in debt, put us in the greatest recession we've ever seen. You know, greater than the Great Depression. And it's so sad to think that because someone or something is so big that you can't fight it, that to the point where people actually tell you, just give up. Don't ever give up. That is my message to you. Fight against them. The one thing that I will always say is that united, we are too strong. And another thing is that we're coming for you. All right. I'm signing off. See you guys soon.